It's been, yeah, maybe 4 weeks, maybe about a month it's been.
I know when you first started with Scale Systems, you said to me, hey, look, I'm in the real estate world.
Yeah.
Is this actually going to work for me? So can you answer that question for me? Because we get that one a lot.
1000% it's going to work if you're in real estate for sure. It's fixed all of my lead capturing issues essentially.
Okay. How so?
So I went from like probably just posting videos and getting like leads that were coming in that were messaging me directly. And then you kind of gave like this framework that is so simple, actually. It's like super duper simple. And basically like posting like easy, digestible, like story posts where people can actually like be pulled into like, I guess like your ecosystem, essentially, based off of you using all of your different techniques, the 17 triggers and things like that, 17 psychological triggers. And yeah, literally like, it works. Like there's no other way to put it. Like it does. When you said like put this thing on my story, I didn't actually think that anybody was going to like actually answer. But there was actually quite a probably like 3 people that actually slid up like almost automatically. And then of course, as you leave it on the story, it just kind of like accumulates. The following day, there was definitely a lot more, but almost automatically I had people reaching out like, hey, like tell me more. You know what I mean? So I was able to actually book a couple of different sales calls through there.
You're incredible when it comes to videos for selling real estate. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I want to know from you, like as someone who is actually already really good at social media, mm-hmm. What do you feel like has changed since you started with Scale Systems? Like what's been the difference for you? Because you were already doing well, getting really like a lot of views on your videos. So what's changed since you began?
I'm going to give you like the best way that I've like kind of can explain it to myself. It's almost like me being the spider, but you guys being the web. Like literally, like you can go ahead and you can kind of like put the things into perspective to where you're able to, like I can have a video go viral and it could bring in a ton of like leads, like through my DMs and stuff like that. But if I was to do that and incorporate what you showed me, I probably would be able to capture that many more people, because you have to be mindful when videos go viral, everything shoots up. So you have like your profile views, you have all of your link clicks, you have all of your comment section, everything. So it's almost like capturing every single aspect of like where you could possibly get leads. And something as simple as stories, which for some reason I've overlooked that has been like one of the major things. Like you post a viral video, your views start shooting up, and then all of a sudden you have like your story that you post. Now you're just capturing all of that. So that's kind of like the way that I would look at it. Like, yeah, I'm the spider, you're the web.
Okay, got it. Yeah. I mean, because I guess for me and my team, it's been like 7 years specifically now that we've been doing this. And for me personally, 3 more years where I was doing, I was in the fitness industry before. So it's been a good amount of time where from the business lens, like we do have that perspective to be able to essentially connect the dots in a way that produces revenue, right? Because I know for you, even just before we got on this, you asked me like a question and I could answer it in like 1 sentence. Because like how long have you been thinking about that? Are you happy to share what we just discussed before we started recording?
Yeah, so basically what we were discussing is me trying to kind of figure out like my program offering like fully and like validating it. And you were just like, well, the only way to validate it is to basically put in the work essentially. And I was like, okay, like that's kind of it. And I think that sometimes you like when you're speaking to somebody that kind of knows it like you, just hearing it come out of your mouth and that probably being the thing that I know that I need to do, but like I'm going around it. So like when you're like, well, that's what you need to do, it's just making it clear for me essentially.
Yeah. So for context, like Shak has 2 sides of the business. One is the real estate. Would you call it like a brokerage? That's what you guys call it in America, right?
Yeah, that's basically what it is. So yeah, I'm more of a real estate referral agent on one side, and then on the other side, I'm teaching people how to do exactly what I'm doing in real estate to get those leads on my business side, basically.
So that's essentially when we met, which is when you're really working to get the coaching side, the program side, like fixed up and scaling, etc. And so Shak was essentially asking me, hey, how do I essentially make my program perfect, right, Shak? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but would you say that was an accurate kind of depiction of what you were trying
basically to do? Yeah, that was it.
So like I've seen this, I told him like more than 2,000 times right now, because especially in 2020, we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people coming to us to get an online offer scaling, right? Because obviously people had to go from the in-person world to the online world. And so what I said to him was like, look, here's the thing. The framing that you have to have is before you start charging full price for the coaching program, you have to let people know that you're going to take on a few people, work really closely with them until they get the result, to make sure that you know for sure that this is something that works. Because otherwise, what I see happen time and time again is people do this thing where they start thinking, how can I make my program perfect? How can I make sure that the deliverables are optimized? Because if you don't have sales coming through, and if you aren't certain from the clients that you're working with that you can get them a result, guess what happens? You start to procrastinate on doing the thing that you need to do in order to get more sales, because you have this question mark in the back of your mind. Is this going to get results for clients?
Yeah.
Because you haven't already delivered results through that type of container before. And that's why I just say, hey, let's get some sales through the door. Let's take the price down way low. Let's let these clients know, hey, I'm going to work with you for up to 6 months so that you can be sure that this is going to work. Even if the situation usually takes 3 to 4 months, that gives them peace of mind. You're able to take the price lower down. You can then get killer results, have confidence in the back of your mind. And then the beautiful thing that happens is that you stop self-sabotaging on sales, trying to think, hey, shall I make a few more tweaks to make this perfect? And then that's how you see oftentimes Scale Systems clients, their revenue exploding, because they have so much certainty that what they're doing with the client works. So they stop self-sabotaging sales. So that's going to be what happens to you next, Shak. It's going to be really cool to watch. Cool. So from that side of things then, what, like, let's talk me through this then. So you mentioned as well that you have like another coach and stuff that you're working with. What's for you, like, honestly been so far different about what we do versus anything else that you've done in the past? What would you say is interesting or different? Or I'm curious to know your answer because I have no idea.
So can you explain that a little bit better just so I can kind of answer that better for you as well?
Yeah, because I know you've done like you've had some coaching on your business before.
Yeah.
So what's like maybe different about how we do things versus anything else? Like the good, the bad, like just be honest with me.
Well, I would say definitely speaking to you so like directly has been like one of the best things that I've experienced with like coaching just in general, is like being able to speak to like the person that's actually providing all of the value. Like I'm not speaking to like the second person or the third person, the assistant. I mean, of course I'm speaking to like Marianne and stuff like that, but like she's like on her doing her thing, you know what I mean? And then like I'm speaking with you about like what needs to be spoken about. Workshops is another major thing, like having like a lot of different workshops that actually immediately like just take action and like yield results, like things like that. That's probably the two major things, honestly.
Yeah, I like to move things forward. Don't want you to get stuck in your head, right?
Yeah, you're like, let's go. All right, I'm gonna give you guys this, this, and this. Do it, and then let me know what happens. And if you get, if you make $20,000 from it, great. Like that's what we were supposed to do. Like literally.
That's what we like. Yeah, and so that's a good point there, because you do it, okay? Whereas like not everyone does. So why do you do it?
I think that I like to just throw paint at the wall. Like I need to like know what works. Like for the past maybe 2 years, I've kind of been like treading around a lot within my business of like trying to figure out what works, and like kind of how I just did this whole thing where we talked about I want things to be perfect, and it doesn't always have to be. So the things that I know that don't have to be, especially after like building like my most recent like business and on like online presence, like it literally was just me just doing it, like no days off, just doing it, and then like the immediate feedback loop. So it's like the more you do, the more volume you put in, the better results that you get, and the more feedback you get for yourself. So that's why I do it. Like that's the truth. Like that's
100%.
Yeah.
No, that's great. It's the marketer's mindset shift that you have to have at some point. Because if you're in this mode of being the coach, the trainer, the business owner, the service provider, where everything has to be perfect, that's definitely key on that side of things when it comes to serving the clients. But when it comes to actually generating the leads and sales and everything, you have to be willing to test. Because imagine if you had got on that workshop with me and you hadn't have tested that one story that then led to all of those leads for you.
Yeah.
We'd be in a very different position right now, because you may never have like actually been trusting in our process as a whole.
Yeah, that's true.
Crazy to think, hey.
That's very true. Yeah.
Okay. So then, in the past then, before you were using all of our stuff, etc., like what were you trying to do that maybe wasn't driving as much revenue as you would have liked?
I think not having a real way of like engaging with the people that wanted to be engaged with me, essentially. Like you have all of these people like that want to work with you, that may have some sort of interest in you, especially like in real estate, like, oh, like I want to figure out how to do this, or I want to, you know, first time home buyers, investors and things like that. And they want to have that conversation, but you're never like saying like, you're sticking your hand out. Essentially, you're teaching me how to stick my hand out and say, hey, like, this is what I have to offer. Essentially, here, I'm just posting videos going viral. Yeah, my accounts are big, but like, all right, well, how do we translate that into revenue? And it's like putting things into perspective, like actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And it can seem so simple, like you had previously mentioned. And the reason being is because ultimately what we're doing is so right now I'm in Japan, right? You can see this glorious island background behind me. And I consistently am like walking along the street and I'm so hungry and I'm looking at all around me, but I can't figure out what the hell they're selling because it's quite literally written in another language. And so the same thing happens when it comes to us and our zone of genius with social media. We put out offers and we say, hey, like come and work with me or join my free thing, but nobody signs up for it or comes closer towards working to you because it's essentially speaking in a different language that they don't understand. And so the reason why what we do works at Scale Systems when we put it together in such a simple manner is because we're taking all the knowledge that you have in your head and we're communicating it in a language that your prospects can understand. And I know it sounds really simple, but that comes down from, as I said, like me and my team doing this over a period of 7 years, like doing this so many times to refine it in a way where it can be working for you to actually drive leads into your business. And then the cool thing is you don't even need to focus all the time on going so viral because you're able to sell to like the existing audience that you do have. But I wanted to ask you about that because your videos do go very, very, very viral. So would you be willing to, you know, share your secret formula for our audience here as to getting those real estate videos to go so viral?
I'm gonna be completely honest, and I could vouch for my most recent video that has gotten 3.3 million views. Literally started off with maybe about 500,000 views, and then I let like some controversy happen in the comments, and then that took it over. But realistically, it's what I think it is, and what I usually like tell other people. It's the hook. It's 1000% the hook. I curate the hook, and I have literally recorded a video in 3 minutes, posted it, and gotten 2 million views literally twice in a day. You know what I mean? Like, so it's majority, that's what it is. Like, if you want to be very specific about like the content aspect, it's like really building out a good beginning, middle, and call to action in the video, keeping them engaged. I have a really long watch time because I'm pretty good at that, keeping them engaged, you know, throwing like your own spin on it. Being authentic is one thing that I really try to do. I want people to just know that it's just me, you know what I mean? And I think that that's why a lot of people do follow along the whole like tours and stuff that I do, because they're like, oh, this guy's like a nerd and he also loves real estate, but he has like the jargon behind it and like he says funny things. Like I have like a like people call me like Shak Zillow because like I have like a ton of Zillow postings, and like I was like, okay, well that's cool. Like literally people will see me in the street and oh, that's the Shak Zillow guy. My friends post me, oh, is that the Shak Zillow guy? I'm like, oh gosh, okay. Like, yeah, I get it, you know, but it's really it when it comes to the content, it's specifically, in my opinion, you have a really good hook, continue to keep people engaged throughout the video, obviously have some sort of like deliverable or like some sort of payoff, because that's like my major thing. I have like an extreme payoff or like really interesting videos of just like homes that are just like not normal. So I mean, I think that mysterious thing kind of engages people, but also like you have to know, because I've seen plenty of people try to like copy the formula and like, or just my format, and it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work because they don't have like that flair. So that's what it is.
And they also don't understand how to speak in the language. It's like what we spoke about before regarding the messaging. They don't understand how to speak in the language of the ideal client that the ideal client's going to pay attention to. So I think that's cool. And I think that what you're doing is a really great thing for real estate agents, getting more real estate agents, you know, to get visible on social media. Funny fact, my first job was a real estate agent. Did you know that?
Really? No, I did not know that.
Yeah. I was putting leaflets through doors just in the south of London. Yeah, it was crazy times. I was hustling those streets. Yeah, and I was very, very good at selling houses, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah,
it was very fun. It was very fun. Yep, 17 years old. First, other than, you know, working in a pub and a hotel. So I respect the hustle. I respect the hustle.
Yeah, of course. That's good. That's impressive.
It was fun. It was pretty fun. Yeah, I drove around in a little smart car. Do you know those cars with all the branding on the outside of it? Yeah, that
Yeah. Oh
was
gosh. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you can park wherever you want.
That's
Okay,
funny.
cool. So, all right, then from your perspective, like what's the most valuable thing that you've gained from like working with us?
I would say the moment that I was able to actually join the scale system like program and go on school and having all of these resources where it's like you're literally giving us the free sauce. You know what I mean? That's where I'm like, okay, like if I can just put some time aside and just like digest all of this, get really familiar with it, like it could be like a no-brainer that I would make more money essentially. So that was like mine. I'm like, oh, okay. Of course we have like these calls. Of course, like the workshops and things like that. But I would say the moment that you were like the resources that you have, because like I think that it's so specific. They're so specific, but everything's super simple. You know what I mean? So that's like my thing. I'm like, yes, I love that.
And like what would you say is our main value proposition? Like as a company from your perspective, having been with us for like a month now.
Uh, how to drive up that revenue, actually scale, like actually, like truthfully, because I think that everything that you're offering in like the program itself is basically teaching people how to set up their business in a way that can be moved. Because like my definition of scale is like one and then many, right? So like getting this one perfect and then like being able to bounce that around and like duplicate that. I think that you're really good at getting the one together and then also how to do the many, because obviously like scale systems, you know. So that's cool. Right.
That's awesome. I appreciate it. And like your goals over the next 12 months, are you happy to share what you're working towards, what your dream outcome is? Obviously, that's helpful
Mhm.
for me to know so I can help you
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah. So truthfully, where I want to be next year is I want to have like my full. So of course, I think that what I'm working on right now and my referral business is like it's great. It's amazing. But I do love yapping. I love talking. You know what I mean? And I think
Really?
that what I'm doing is like really good to really like actually kind of transform real estate in a way where they're doing things a little bit different, because like my main value proposition for what I'm trying to do on my coaching side is like move yourself away from the old ways of doing the whole real estate jargon, open houses, you know, things like that, that just really don't work as much as they should, and moving more toward online systems and ways in order to be able to grow your real estate business and actually make money your first year. Because a lot of real estate agents that start off don't make money their first year, 2 years. You know what I mean? That was my issue as well. Like I wasn't making any money. So how can we make money up front? You know what I mean? So that's like my main thing. I want to get this whole program like amazing, perfect, right? Put together and be able to help as many people as I possibly can. I don't think I have a number set to it because I think that that starts like capping myself. You know what I mean? Because I mean, once I get it together, I think the sky's the limit. Same thing that I was able to do with social media this past literally year. Like, I mean, I possibly could do the same thing next year. So, I mean, it's just
So
sky's
cool.
the limit. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love your mindset as well. Because the cool thing about you, Shaq, and the reason why you get results quickly is because you get in, you take the messy action, you're willing to maybe even fail the first couple times, right? Because you understand that the failure is feedback, it's data that you can then put into your way of doing things to not do that thing again, try something different. It's that marketer's mindset, right? And that's so vital when it comes to getting like success through a business that runs online, because we can't possibly assume that everything needs to be perfect before we get it done, because the problem is otherwise we can be building something forever and never even know if someone's going to actually buy that thing. So I respect you a lot for that. So with that being said, final question would be, how likely are you to recommend scale systems to someone who's looking to drive more revenue using social media? Like, let's say, you know, 1 is like, I don't recommend, 10 is definitely recommend 100%. You can vouch for it. Like, where would you say you're at? 7, we don't do 7s around here. 7's a cop-out answer. So where would you say, what would you recommend?
I mean, honestly, I mean, I'm here. So I think that it's definitely a 10. Like, I'm going to recommend it because it's worked for me. So even if I think that for people that are even on the fence about, hey, is this something that I should do? I think that it's almost like a no-brainer, because the way that you get immediate feedback from the things that you're capable of providing should be that validation. Like, oh, is this going to work? It's going to work. I said it like 5 times. It was almost immediate feedback the moment that we started working together. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think that it would be a 10. I would say 11, but I think that that's pushing it because you
Okay.
said 7s are a cop out. So, I mean, we'll keep it at 10 because that's great, right?
Okay, no, I appreciate that. Thank you. So then for anyone who wants to get their real estate business getting way more visibility on social, I also vouch for you massively too. Because I've seen it's the proof is in the pudding, right? You could just go check your IG, Video Shack is your
Yeah.
username, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I love watching the videos myself. They're very entertaining, they're very cool. Everyone should go check out your social media because then you can see the scale system plus Shaq's own real estate video system in action together. Have you changed anything about your videos, like your viral ones, since we worked together, or that's fully your system? Like, have you changed anything at all? I'm curious.
No, the only thing that I'm doing is what you recommended, which is kind of I'm doing collaborations with my other account. So in order to
Nice.
like distinguish the two,
Yeah.
just adding a little bit of like a different like flair on that one. That's the only thing that's different. Realistically, following like kind of the same formulas that I've always been using, and now implementing yours. Whenever videos do go viral, you'll see like that static post up there because I'm like, who's next? You know.
To get the revenue pumping, but get it pumping. Awesome, Shaq. Well, thanks so much for being here today. I appreciate you. Anything that we can do better? I'm always looking for more feedback as well. What could me and my team do better to support you and people like you more?
I mean, honestly, off the top of my head, I don't have anything that's like, oh, you need to hop on that. No, I would say no, I guess, as of right now. I mean, I would love to be a tough critic, but I don't have anything.
Okay, cool. Making good progress. Awesome. I like it. Well, thanks so much for being here. Anything else that you want to ask me at this point?
Face value, right?
Face
Face value of how you see everything that I've been doing. What do you think is my next my next best step?
You need to put out 5 different offers, getting people to become case study clients for you.
Got it.
So the reason 5 is because I would be looking to test the messaging angle as to why people want to work with you. So for example, I would pick, real estate agents who want to get more visibility. I would then also do real estate agents that are looking to generate more revenue. I would then also do one like specifically about real estate agents that want to use organic social media to get more leads. Then also to sell more houses, to get more listings. Like I would try multiple different tests. You could even do more than 5, but then what I would do is I'd look at what messaging actually converted the most sales into paying clients. And instead of charging them a super high ticket price, I'd really get like the first 3 to 10 clients through the door. Like that's usually the range that I suggest. For a lower price, as I said earlier, get them to work with you for, how long would it roughly take to get them a result? 3 to 4 months, would you say?
I would say maybe about 3 months. We're trying to scale them up to be able to see some sort of like real result that's like tangible.
Okay, so I would tell them like, you expect it's like exactly what you just said. I expect it's going to take 3 months, but I'm going to commit to working with you for 6 full months. In case you haven't got the result by the end of the 3 months, we can then extend it for another 3 months. Like I would quite literally frame it like that, honestly. And then anyone that's responding to those offers, you have the frameworks to put out the bottom of the funnel offers, right? Like you know how to do that. Anyone that's responding to that, just grab their phone number, get them on a 15-minute call. You have the 15-minute call script to use to qualify them. If they're then qualified, then book them on a 60-minute session with you, and that will be the sales call. And at the end of the sales call, like you quite literally have it. It's all in the community. The script for the beta tester script, use that specific script so that you can close them. Like it's all there, like all of the assets there. I can send you the direct links to all of them specifically after this call, but that's all that you need to do right now. And then set a goal as to how many you want to get started. They can all start on the same day. You can work with them with a period of 6 months, figure out like, where do they get stuck? When they get stuck, what resource do they need to get unstuck? Right? Because for example, for you, if you didn't have what I just told you just there, which is like the beta tester sales script, like the program in a box, like all of that stuff, you'd be stuck, right? But we already know that you're going to get stuck there. So we already have it there for you. So like you need to figure out where are people going to get stuck. And then what next may happen is like let's say you then start taking sales calls, right? And let's just pretend you suck at sales calls. Like that's when we'd obviously now be able to give you feedback on that to make sure that you get unstuck there. Candidly, like most of our clients don't get stuck at sales calls, which is why we don't give much support on that. But I'm just saying, like as an example, if we found that our clients were consistently getting stuck there, we'd add a session on sales. But it's just not an issue for our clients. Like all of our clients are really good at sales. It's like one of the criteria of working with us. So I just share that like as an example because you're not going to know why people get stuck until they go through the system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes too much sense actually.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, Shaq, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. And I'm excited to see you keep killing it on social media. You're awesome. And I appreciate working with you.
Yes, thank you. Likewise, Lauren. Thank you so much.